The Underdog Podcast. It's your host T. Lee and my co-host Jack Cowden will be live today as usual.
Was pulling up, they acting like they couldn't see me. Now she wanna clean me up like a squeegee. I told her that's on me, baby, like yellow BZ. With the peanut butter tear like a Reese.
He's gonna persevere through all the obstacles. Get it done. That's the underdog.
They don't forget the underdog when they see me. I hit them with the John Cena, they can't see me.
You may overlook this person, but the underdog is the one who's gonna put in the work.
It's over, you know, because you have to lose to win. Whether you think losing is a big event.
Out of mind. Just be careful who you idolize. I'm kicking these scriptures just before the fame. Ain't no cap in my words, I go against the grain.
So I always believe in like I took so many risks to make this thing happen. You know what I mean?
I'm always working, bro. Like I just, like I said, I'm energy driven. Underdog can put you on your ass. The underdog can put you on game. The underdog can show you something that you didn't know.
Can't go down. All you can do is go up. So are you gonna stay where you at, or are you gonna move up?
Feel the bangers. Feel the bangers.
He said he's nervous. This is his first time doing it.
I hit the beans, cut her ass off. If she get there, I can reread.
Yo, what's going on, good people? This is the Underdogs Podcast, Season 3, Episode 11, to Perfect, featuring Atlanta's own Dophotowrestling. Sorry. But we're going to get it in, man. Second day. Yesterday was a good episode. So let me bring in her right now.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Come on, guys, how you doing? Welcome to the Underdogs Podcast.
Am I echoing?
Nah, you good. I hear you clear.
I'm trying to fix my headphones, but it's not connecting for some reason.
Nah, you good. What's going on?
Nothing much. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You know, making things happen on our end, pushing this positivity, inspirational, motivational things of such things of nature. Like I say, it's an honor to have you on our platform today. This is Atlanta's own owner of Do Photography, Do Models, Do Photo Wrestling. This is Dezirae, everybody.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's an honor to have you on our platform today. For those out there watching, you know, in 30 seconds, who is Dezirae as a person outside of being a photographer?
Who am I? I'm just a live life, be happy, enjoy yourself person. I'm very simple. I'm not complicated. I just like to create things, like to do simple things, have fun, enjoy life.
Yeah, there you have it, people. That's the type of vibe that's going to be in the atmosphere when Dezirae come around. So, from Atlanta, Georgia, like, what was it like for you coming up in the city from your perspective, you know, coming up in what they call the dirty bird?
Well, I actually grew up in the suburbs around like the outskirts of Atlanta. So I wasn't like in the city, but I know what was going on. But it was how it is now is just not completely different, but kind of different than how it was before. Yes. Right. Back then, at least it was a controlled mess. But Atlanta's a great city for creators. So
most definitely,
I definitely say.
No, I like how you said that because that's what I feel like with Atlanta is like, you know, the from the outside looking in, like being from Florida and looking at like Atlanta and everything. Almost everybody from everywhere that's black-owned business or whatever they doing is like they know Atlanta is like going to either boost their creativity, boost their networking, something about Atlanta everybody sees where it's like, I can see myself, you know, becoming something when I go out there, like a LA type feeling, you know, how people look at LA.
Yeah, they say I haven't been as an adult, so
yeah. Nah, you definitely got to check it out. It's definitely something you would want to see, you know, like from your eyes. So for those who have, you know, maybe living under a rock, you know, and never visited Atlanta, you know, like what are some of your go-to spots, whether it's food or just to hang out and catch a vibe, like the scenery?
I'm really a homebody, but there's so many spots here.
Right.
One of the spots that it's mostly on the south side that I go to a lot is this restaurant called Savoy Bistro. It's Black owned. They have good vibes. They have live music some days.
Right. That's everything.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite spots, I would definitely say. There's a million hookah spots, so that's the biggest thing.
It's hookah tips all over 285 right now.
Wings all over the city.
Yeah. So, you're a professional photographer. May I add, around what time did you start the, truly visiting yourself where you are now today?
That's a good question. Honestly, for me personally, like, I just like creating. So it don't even have to be just me taking the pictures. Even if I'm helping somebody with their own shoot, helping a model put together a shoot with somebody else.
Right.
I really started in like high school, I guess I would say, my senior year.
Okay.
So, but I don't think I really took it seriously. I went until, I guess probably till I went to college, because I went to SCAD. So yeah, I'd probably say around that time during college years.
No, most definitely. I just feel like you being a photographer, like you see the world from a different point of view than the average eye would. Like everything kind of, I guess I would say, spark some type of creativity. Rather you just driving somewhere or just, that's
funny too, because I guess as I get more into it and learning more different things, I guess really since art school too, I feel like I've noticed I've like watched movies or videos like completely different. Like people will be looking at it, like watching the thing. I'm looking at it like that's some great lighting, like stuff like that. Like I just see a picture in a video, or even driving by, like that'd be a great place to shoot. So I think I just like, not just during photos, but throughout life, I've been looking at things a little differently.
Yeah, I like how you said that too. Like if you're looking at a movie, like everybody's looking at the movie for entertainment purposes, but it's like when you're actually looking at, like, it takes X amount to put all this production together. Like
I'd be looking like that had to take forever for that to be in there for 3 seconds. Like
right, that'd be like, crazy too. Like a shot that's probably 3 seconds took a couple hours to put together.
Days. And plus, like, even outside of photography, I obviously know other artists too that do different things, like graphic design, drawing, all that. And it's just amazing, like how passionate you have to be working forever on something, and it may only be for like 5 seconds or something. Even like the reels you see that are really, it might be 30 seconds. It might have taken them 3 days to do that.
But that's everything. Them 5 seconds be everything. Like
but it means like them 5 seconds are important though.
Right. Especially to the average eye, like the attention span of people. You gotta do stuff visually. Like people are visual people, especially with social media and stuff now. Like, so was it just a hobby at first, or did you plan this out? Like, was it just you just picked up a camera and just started, taking shots, or was it like you pretty much put together like, this is what I want to do?
Well, it definitely started off as a hobby. I really my senior year of high school, they decided they would start making everyone, you have to take art class. And so photography class, which was just film back then. It wasn't a digital thing.
Right.
I love that part. Like I think that was the first time I understood like loving the process of something.
Right.
So started off as a hobby. It was a long time before I was like, oh, I can actually make money doing this.
Right. But I like how, being that like you into what you into, like you just got a true passion behind it. So like, I'm pretty sure once the business established and everything, it's like you're still doing what you love. You got a passion for it, but you're making money. So I feel like that's the truth. That's like how I feel like everybody should go into anything they do, like have some type of passion into it. Don't feel like you're forced to do it because of the money. Like,
very true.
So being a photographer, I already seen that, like, you seeing the world from another perspective. So like, what even made you pursue the role of just photography where you could have did many other things creative wise? Like, is it other things that you do too that like people might not know about too much, but you still do it? Like,
I think
they wouldn't expect you to like do it for real because of what
like
you
art
do.
wise.
Yeah, anything creative.
I think it was just the thing that I was good at. Cause like the funny thing is when you go to, I don't know about other art schools, but when you go to SCAD, they force you to have drawing classes where you're drawing in charcoal,
Right.
these weird mediums, and
Right.
but it's for a bigger reason. But then you don't understand. And then when I was taking those classes, I'm terrible at drawing. Like drawing, painting, those type of things. It's fun, but I'm not good at it.
Right.
So I think photography was one of the things that I actually felt like I was good at and could actually do.
Right. Are there like any other hidden talents too, you know, that you may have that?
I'm starting to be better at directing, like putting sets, like trying to put sets together, directing sets.
Right.
I wouldn't mind being like a creative director or something like that. Because I like putting stuff together as well, not just always just going there shooting and that's it. So I kind of like putting up creation together. Then I feel like you appreciate it more that way too.
Right, because you get to like everything you seen or visualized come together, you know.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like editing, like what was that like for you in the beginning? Like what software did you learn and how long does it take you now, you know, versus like with a turnaround now versus the beginning? Because the only one I really know about is everybody knows Photoshop. Like,
yeah, well, Photoshop is good, but I use Lightroom more. I do use Photoshop a lot. I use them probably about the same, but for like basic stuff, I'll just use Lightroom. But Adobe pretty much has the art game on lock in general. So any Adobe creative thing, that's pretty much what I use to edit. When I first started off, it's funny because the time periods are different now. Because back then, people wasn't editing like as crazy as they are now, or doing as much as they are now.
Right.
So process is different. But I didn't know, like it's just my visual like was completely different back then too. When editing a photo, now I can take things out, notice things like I don't want that in the picture. This will make it better. Versus back then, I didn't. I go back and look at pictures now, like that looks terrible.
But that was you was it was like, was it self-taught, you know, or did you kind of like, okay, yeah.
It was kind of a combination of that because I did go to school for photography too. Right. But it's just everything just going through everyday life, and you see different perspectives of things. Different perspectives really help you a lot when you're a creator.
Right. Nah, definitely. Like you gotta be able to see everything, kind of, you know, not just look at the surface of it. You gotta kind of go below, like what you're really looking at.
Yeah,
like you say, the average. I was gonna say, like the average eye, like, you know, they might look at, like you say, a movie, but they just looking at it for what it is. But then it's like when you're a creative person, or you looking like, man, how did they make this happen? Or like you're looking at what type of effects they're using and all type of stuff. Like,
a lot of the times too, I'll even appreciate like the little details. Like it might be a small scene, and you might be focused, like as a watcher, you might be focused on like the people who have in the background. I'm looking at, in the foreground, I'm looking at the background, what they have in the background, the music they're playing, their lighting, because everything comes together and works together. So like think about if movies didn't have music, the whole perspective of the movie would be completely different.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
Little stuff like that makes a big difference. These little details.
Okay, so who would you say, you know, was the person that helped mold you into the person you are today? Like, was there anybody that had a type of influence on you early on?
Like as a photographer or in general?
Just in general, life perspective. Yeah, kind of. I mean, it can be both.
Yeah, it's a lot of people that have helped, but I would probably say mostly my mom, because she was always supportive of any and everything. Like she's a very happy and caring person. So if I had said I want to be an astronaut, she would be like, okay, let's figure out how to do this. Like I can tell her anything.
she's not trying to shoot the dream down.
Yeah,
you know, she's
I could have literally told her to do anything, and she would be like, "Okay, let's figure out how to do this." So, and that makes a big difference because you almost have to be crazy and insane to do some crazy dreams that you have, but they are possible.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like anything is attainable. Like once if you got your mind locked in and set on it, you can definitely make it happen. It's just seeing that vision, and just being consistent behind it.
You can't always share that vision with everybody because if they don't see it, they're gonna keep it down, and you're gonna think you can't do it.
Right, for real. It's like I want to be a pilot. I want to fly planes. They're gonna make sure the plane don't take off the ground. Like for real.
They're gonna tell you all the way you can.
So, when you first photos, like what were those moments like you were captioning in the beginning, like what type of sceneries and stuff like that? What was the the type of photos you were taking?
Yeah, so when I like very first started doing photography, I did mostly like flowers, landscape, like just little things you see when you're walking around.
Right.
Yeah, and then I just stopped doing that after a while because it was boring. Like, I mean, if you could I think that probably helped too with seeing little details because, like when you're doing flowers and nature and stuff, they
focus and stuff.
Yeah, and then you were playing with the focus and stuff. But yeah, I didn't start shooting people for a while.
Right. Nah, I feel like that's like almost like in like karate, like you got different color belts, so you have to get the fundamentals down first before you just jump.
That was just fundamental things. A lot of people start that way.
Mm-hmm. So what was the equipment like, in the beginning? Like what was your setup at first? Like your first camera, the accessories and everything.
Yeah. Well, the first, I would say the very first one was a film camera.
Okay. Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so I had that. So I was developing film first.
Right.
If I were to do it now, I don't remember the whole process, so I'd probably mess it up. But
that's dope. You started at the very the foundation of photos with that.
Now you can take film. I actually might get back into film.
Right.
But now you can just take your film somewhere and have them develop it, come pick it up.
Yeah.
Then because at school we had a dark room. I used to want a dark room in my house, because it was just fun. It was a relaxing process to do. And to see, you don't know what the pictures look like until you develop them either.
Right. Nah, I feel like those photos look more attractive in a sense too. Like they just look vintage. You look at photos from back then on that.
Yeah.
They definitely do. So, what styles of photography do you like the most when shooting?
I like a lot of street style photography, like urban looking, natural lifestyle type of photography. So I would say either lifestyle or editorial, which is more like the creative shoots. So definitely those are my favorite.
Most definitely. And I feel like even when I work in a sense at the parking deck and all that, it was just everything flowed together.
Yeah, I like those type of shoots.
So around what time did Do Photography establish, and what was that moment where you said, it's time running off your craft? Like now it's time to get a check.
At first I started. What year was? I don't remember what year it was. It's been about 10 years. I started with just shooting friends and just start off with that. But I remember my first paying shoot was it was this music artist named Beezy. He doesn't do music anymore. But my cousin called me one day while I was at school, and he was like, I have a friend, he needs some photos. I told him you could do it. So if it wasn't for my cousin, who knows if I ever would have actually started a company. But that was my first paying job, and he used it for his music cover. So I remember doing it and that's when I decided, okay, maybe I should start charging people for stuff. But even from then to now, the business of photography is always a learning process.
And I just feel like everything go together. You already in the mecca where everybody wants to do photo shoots and kind of get their portfolios together and stuff. So
Yeah.
it definitely came together good. So
Thank you.
how is it working with your earlier clientele versus now? Like, when did you notice, the business started to go up too? Like,
honestly, probably like right before COVID. Honestly, actually, probably way before. But like I decided, like, okay, maybe you should. I decided that maybe I should have a website like that people can actually book on,
right.
because that makes a difference. So it's just little things, knowing that, like little things that you have to do for business wise. Then I start thinking, okay, maybe I'm getting better at this because I need more things to help me out because it's getting hectic. But yeah, I would say
that's what's up. So what do you enjoy most about your craft when you're capturing these moments? Like, what's your favorite part of the process?
My favorite part, I would probably say the client's reactions.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's been a lot of clients that I've had that I might shoot with them once a year.
Right.
But I've been shooting them once a year for like 6 years. So it's like it's interesting to see like that. I really appreciate that because you might not know them that well. I only know them on a level.
Right.
But them and I see their growth, I see how good they're doing. I've had people where I've shot their maternity shoots, then when their kids come, their kid's first birthday, and then when they get married, like it's just a very interesting process. And they're so thankful just for me to be able to give them pictures and memories.
Yeah, it's like you play like a role in a sense, like their timeline, I would say, in a sense, like their life journey a little bit. Like you're getting bits and pieces of it,
Yeah, because it's a lot of shoots that I actually don't even post because I just don't post certain things. But those are the pictures that mean most to those people.
Yeah, like I think it's the impact you're putting on people's lives too, though.
Yeah, I think that's also goes with the perspective that you have to look at it too, because right now it might be a picture, but if something happened to that person, that's the last picture you got of them.
Right.
So that's important.
That's dope right there. Like, so when it comes to photography, what are the key fundamentals that a photographer should learn over time when perfecting their skills? Like they just can't skip the process; they gotta go through it.
Yeah. So there's a difference if you're just a photographer, like it's your hobby, or if you're trying to be a photographer full time. Like I'm a full time photographer.
Right.
A full time, you can't skip the business aspect of it. You have to know the business, or else it ain't gonna work. If you're just doing a hobby, you can get away with certain things.
Right.
But if you're just either way, for both photographers, I think the most important part is learning lighting. Even if you don't know your settings, you got to know that you have to have certain light for certain things, because lighting makes up majority of any picture. Whether it's good light, you want a moody light, however you want it, that sets the mood for the photo.
Right. Like that tells a lot in a sense.
Yeah. It could change the perspective of the entire photo.
Right. Like, and it's crazy because, if a person say a photographer is learning, or say they're self-teaching themselves by trial and errors, like, they go through a whole shoot, and like say they go through the whole shoot, they got the worst lighting, and now it's like, but like, have you had any moments, like in your career where like you was, how can I say it? Not say made a mistake, but it was like a learning moment for you?
I actually have this year, actually. So I had an event that somebody booked. And long story short, the event was very dark. And I don't like shooting the flash and stuff at events. So I didn't bring like flash stuff, because when you use the flash at events, to me, it just takes away from the environment. And that defeats the purpose of,
Everybody's like, what is that bright light?
Yeah, you just see a bright light, whoever standing in front of it or whatever. Especially if you're trying to get candidates and stuff, or like, because people get weird when they see somebody walking around and it's a flash going off everywhere.
Right.
So I try not to use flash for events.
Okay, so had a little technical difficulty. You guys, sorry about that, but we're back. Everything is good from now on. So yeah, I apologize for that technical difficulty. But yeah, continue where you just left off at. I am so sorry.
I don't
usually never happens, but Max, I don't know.
But that was actually perfect because I was just talking about things that happen. It's just trial and error.
Yeah, it's one of those moments, you know.
One of those moments. Like I had to learn, and I'm still trying to learn. You just can't keep beating yourself up over the things that you can't control. It happens.
Right.
What's next? Let's keep going. Like.
Yeah, I just feel like just able to keep maneuvering. You know,
yeah, like it happened. Note of it, but make it better for the next time. That's all you can do.
Mm-hmm. So out of your, entire portfolio, like what are some of your most like memorable shoots that you've done that you would like to share? Like,
off the top of my head, the first one I can think of is I did this 70s shoot, and this goes with putting things together and liking how it turned out.
Right.
So I just wanted to do. I've always wanted to do really a shoot of each era. So I did a 70s shoot. I had a couple of my models and a couple of other people as well there. I found this space. It's this house. I think it was in like Decatur or something.
Right.
House that everything in the house is like 70s. Like it was. I think she told me that like they never changed anything since that house has been there. I think she said it was there in 1969.
Oh, so it's still original.
Yeah. So like, I mean, besides obviously maintenance and stuff like that, everything, decoration of everything was still how it was in the 70s.
Right.
So the photos turned out really great, and I put all of that together. So that I would say that one. That's the first one I can think of. That's at the top of my head. That's my most.
Yeah. So it was a whole like 70s vibe,
Yeah, all the outfits that
house,
all the outfits that everyone came up with was perfect for the setting. There was a different room or different setting that went perfectly with something. It all turned out really good.
Nah, that's dope. Man, I be feeling like I'm in the wrong era myself. Like I be feeling like I was born in 91, but I was like, man, if I was born, like, you see how much fun they had, like in the 70s and the 80s.
Like I feel like I should have been at least a teenager in the 70s.
Right. So if you can give a guess, like how much time would you say you have invested in your craft to get to where you are now, as far as learning trial and error, to get you to the next level?
Majority of it. It's like, I feel like now in the past, I guess 3-4 years, I've taken it more seriously versus pictures and going on about your day. I've taken the business side of it more seriously. So like today, it probably takes up 95% of my life, of my time. Like even if I'm not shooting, if I'm not editing, I'm trying to put together more concepts or look for new clients or new ways of marketing. So it's majority of my life.
So it's just like you said, if you're not actively doing something, you're working on something for the day or maybe months later, new
or even. And it might sound crazy to some people, even if I go out somewhere and enjoy myself, even if I'm at a wrestling show and I don't, like I'm not doing photos, I'm still either networking with the people in there or just learning different things throughout it. Sometimes you have to stop actually doing and just watch around you to learn.
Yeah. So. There you go, people. The grind never stops. It just keeps going. So as with anything in life through experiences, there comes, setbacks. Like, has there been any moments in your business where you had to conquer an obstacle, but you still like came out on top, like still made it through?
I wouldn't say it technically came out on top, but I feel like the fact that you keep going. And I've had a lot of setbacks, like life setbacks that put the business part of it and shooting setbacks. And another thing that's important too is as a creator, it's hard to learn to take a break sometimes because I've gotten burnt out so many times. There's been several times throughout my career where I just was like, I don't want to do this somewhere. because you just keep going. You don't ever take a break. You don't ever stop, and you just get burnt out. So
yeah, I feel like taking care of self, in a way, because like people just gotta like make sure that mentally you're physically okay, but then it's like everything gotta balance, because like I said, if you feel burnt out, it's just like your drive and everything comes down with it. Yeah,
that's why the past couple of years I've been very more focused on self-care and mental health, because don't work if you don't work.
Yeah, nah, definitely. That's very important. Glad you said that. So you also have Domodels and Dophotowrestling. Let's talk about, those aside from like photo shoots. You also have models you shoot. Far as like, are these like separate entities, or they all up under the Do Photography like umbrella? It's just you create a different platform where it's like content here, and content here, but they're all up under Do Photography.
Yeah, so even under Do Photography, yeah.
And like what's it like working with these models, different models and stuff like that, like the personalities you come across?
So right now I'm kind of redoing how I want Domodels done. It is not people for some reason think starting any type of modeling anything is easy. I've had several people I've seen several people start, and like maybe a month, maybe a week later they ain't doing it no more. It's because like you said, it's a lot of personalities. And there's people that come in nowadays, everybody thinks they're a model. Modeling is not easy, actually.
Yeah.
More than just standing in front of a camera and looking nice. So with Domodels, I don't want it necessarily to be looked at as an agency, but just kind of platform where people can come and get models, and models can learn how to model. Because a lot of people just, I want to have this outfit and stand here and that's it. But there's a lot more to it.
Nah, definitely. Like I feel like even with that, when you're dealing with people with different personalities, like me being a creator in a sense, with music, is like if I'm working with a photographer or videographer, I just be like, hey, do your thing. Like I want you to feel free. Like I'm not one of them type of people that's like, it's just however it come together, I want it to be organic. Like I don't want to be like, yeah, it gotta look like this. And now I don't want to. I want to let you do your thing. That's you're a professional with what you do. Like if I'm not a photographer, I'm not supposed to be telling a photographer how to be a photographer. Like just do your thing. Like I'm not controlling like that. I'm not doing this for no cloud. I'm just like, hey, I like music. I need to do this. I don't know how to do it. Whatever I don't know how to do, I gotta pay for it. So yeah, I just like everything to mesh together. That's why like I be asking questions like, hey, you know what I'm saying? How you look at this, or how you feel about this? Like I want to know your creative mind while you doing what you're doing. But yeah, like I just like people to feel free, just feel comfortable. Everything will come together how it's supposed to. Like, but I've heard like stories behind people that'll like be, hey man, I think you need to do this or do it like this, and they try to control. Like I just be like, I want a free environment because I know how it feels when you being creative. Like you want to feel free. Like
I've had, and it's funny you say that because I've had a bunch of clients and models like that where they want everything done their way, which is fine. Because I don't have a problem with that, because a lot of the times I don't know that person. So what you see or you want visually, I might not want visually. I'm gonna give my think we should do what would look better. And but it's been like some technical things that I've had clients before say they don't want this, they want it this way, and I'll do it that way. And back, and now they're complaining. Like so
we're in the time too where everybody looking at like when they put in whatever stuff they putting out, it's like it has to be a certain way because of algorithms and all that and content and like
and that because I'm the type of person like I don't care, just put it out. Like as far as if it's a picture of me that people want to look perfect at all times, I'm not that type of, I'm a real person. So I'm not gonna
I feel like art really ain't perfect in a sense. It's not a way of saying perfect art. Like you look at a million paintings on the wall, you'd be like, how did they make that? You know, but then it's like every painting got a different story to it. So like this man might have just put the paintbrush on the paper one time, but that one line that he put on there might be his expression. Like everybody looks at it all different, you know.
Yeah.
So,
and I gotta tell people art is objective. So just because you love something, don't mean that I love something, but it don't make it wrong either.
Yeah, everybody got their own perception when they looking at whatever they look at. So
yeah,
that's why I say be free. Like music the same way. Everybody's gonna hear it a different way. Like
do what you want.
Yeah. Like I feel like that's in the sense of being a creator. That's peace. That's full peace. Like you're not disturbing my peace. You let me be free. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's a must, you know, that we ask this. Like, were you a WWF fan growing up, you know, before WWE in your childhood? And if so, who are your top 5 wrestlers of all times? And you can also include duos and groups. Like,
okay. So for the first part, so I watched wrestling as a kid, like because my mom used to watch it. I wasn't I didn't like follow what was going on, but I have a terrible memory, but I don't remember following what's going on. But I remember watching matches every now and then with my mom. As I got now currently, so I'm a big wrestling fan now. My wrestles now, so we've been watching wrestling for years. But I would say, would you say top 5?
Yeah, your top 5. I'm a big fan of the 90s era, you know, like WCW, like I feel like it was way more action packed, like, and then it's like now, like I would have to go in person really to watch it. And I know I seen on the Dophotowrestling page that there's actually a what it is, like matches and stuff that go on in Atlanta. Like I never knew that.
So there's so like WWE and AEW now is like those are the big wrestling promotions. So anything that you see around the city is indie wrestling, but indie wrestlers are the ones that end up going to, you know, the big. It's basically like tell people think of it as like college before the.
It's like NCAA, NFL,
yeah, exactly. So still some dope.
I definitely gotta check that out. But like I don't know, the WWF like attitude and all that, like that was everything for me. Like I was a child jumping off the bed and everything, like just into it.
But the difference, I think, obviously wrestling changed, but the world changed. So things they could never do on TV now. They really shouldn't have did it then.
Yeah.
A lot of
they did a lot of that back then.
Yeah, that forced wrestling to change a lot of things because there was a lot of things that went up that was like, you do that now, you have people protesting and rioting. Like
it was okay back then though. I felt like everything that happened, it was like it wasn't it's just what it was. Like it was reality.
Yeah, that's just how things were.
Yeah, I think everything got more sensitive over time, which ain't nothing wrong. Everybody has feelings, but I mean, it's just way more sensitive now, like of what content you could put out. But it's almost hypocritical because they do put out stuff that's like, really, it's kids. Like, why?
And it's I had a conversation with somebody about something similar to that, and she also said that it's also because of the internet. Because back you had a problem with something, you had to go somewhere. You had to go somewhere. You had to get these people's attention to make a big deal about it. Now you can just sit on your phone, complain about it, and have a whole bunch of people retweet it, and now it's an issue. Like,
I think these companies be afraid too, in a sense too, like that they'll end up like trending on some type of topic, so they try to just stay out as much as they can.
Exactly.
So how lit, you know, is it to capture these moments of wrestling when you at these live events? Like, do it feel like you're in the ring, like first person point of view, like when you doing you capturing these shots?
Yeah, I could say that. It's actually one promotion recently that told me, they were like, yeah, you can go wherever you want. If you want to get in the ring to take the picture, you can. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
But cool. Definitely you also have to be aware of what's going on when doing wrestling photos, because it's been a couple of close calls. You just don't know what can happen between certain matches, but it's definitely like a cool perspective to have during, especially as a wrestling fan as well.
Yeah, because I'm like, I noticed you got the WrestleMania shirt on. I was like, yeah, that's dedication right there.
But yeah,
yeah, that's cool. Nah, wrestling definitely lit. So,
yeah, I love it.
What keeps you motivated running your operation and keeps you passionate for photography?
I would say two of the main things is like what we talked about earlier with the clients and how much they appreciate stuff. I'll get some messages back that are just like, wow, I didn't know that meant that much to you. But those things keep me going. And then the second thing I would say is seeing other creators, not even just photographers, but seeing other things that people created. That I have a passion for creating. So when I see that, I get, oh, let me come up with an idea or something and put some stuff together. So I would definitely, those would be the two top things for me that keep me going.
No, most definitely. And I feel like it's just gonna keep growing because you're gonna keep getting endless clients and more people. Like,
yeah.
Like I say, it was just it was a spur of the moment thing for me. I was just like, you know what, I ain't see no photos in a minute. And I said, I do want to do this video. And like it didn't even take that long for me to even find you on the tags. Like it was that fast. So I said, let me see if they got something available. It was easy process, everybody. You know, it wasn't complicated. It's easy to navigate. The communication, everything, you know, is on point. She arrives on time. We're just gonna get a review right now. Everything is perfect. You know,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, so definitely was a lit environment. So like any memorable events you would like to share you've been a part of?
I would say one, like I know you didn't mean events in general, but you meant for photography, like me taking the pictures, or just any in general?
Either you was there and you know it inspired you with what you're doing, or if you was there too as well.
So I would say recently, probably this year, I noticed that I really love doing like either events, or it could be family events or business event for Black families. I know that sounds crazy, but like I like people's showers. I've been to people's like grand openings of stuff just to see all their support, how they love, how they communicate with each other, and all the love that people share. Those are probably my favorite. There's not one specifically, but just being at those events just warm my heart, I guess I could say.
It gives you like intimate moments, you know, you share with people in a sense with your business.
Because it's like majority of them people don't know me from anywhere. Like this is my first time meeting them, but I'm here like sharing like some very personal moments with them. So, yeah, I think that's very memorable.
Yeah, you'll always be remembered in a sense too. It's like, you know, yeah, we had her take our photos in this year, or you know,
yeah, because there was a group of friends that when I first started doing events, it was like for any event they hired me. So it was like one person started, and then somebody else that was there would have booked something, and then somebody that event booked something. So I'm like, I like just those events in general. They turn out nice in different ways, and they're fun to be around.
Most definitely out here making an impact in people's lives and creating memories.
That's all.
That's good service, you know, like and essentially, and that's really what it is. You're providing people, you know, with a service, like you're really helping them in a way. Like everything that you do on an entrepreneur level, I feel like is what ways can you improve people's lives and make it better, you know, in a sense.
Yeah, exactly. It could be the smallest thing, but it could change somebody's perspective or their whole life about something.
Right, definitely. So yeah, you out here doing some good work out here in the streets of Atlanta.
Thank you.
So what can we be on the lookout, you know, coming from Dezirae, CEO, you know, do photography, do photo wrestling?
I'm trying to get back to doing more more series, like photo series. I've been nervous to try it in a while, but I need to do another gallery. So I want to do that, but
oh, that's like putting an event together.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Okay.
Yeah. But for some reason, I'm always afraid to do events because I just think nobody's gonna show up. So I haven't I might have an idea for one, but I might not do it because of nobody's gonna come.
I mean, see, that's one thing. Like have that fearless attitude, you know, and I'm pretty sure, like, you know, you doing what you're doing and taking the leap of faith to creating your business in there, you have a fearless attitude. It's just, I feel like all of us we have those moments where we're like, I don't know, like,
yeah.
But it just be those moments, like, you know, if it's right, you'll feel it if it's right.
Well, to be honest, though, I am very fearful, but
oh, really?
But I'm getting more fearless. Like, I might be scared, I'm gonna do it anyway. So I think that's where you start. Like, you can be scared to do it, but just do it anyway. It's gonna turn out better than you wishing 10 years from now that you had did that. So,
right, yeah. I don't know. Like, I could say somewhat fearless, but like I say, we all human. We all have certain things, and you know, we're like, but it was a book. I recommend too that you might want to look at. Like, I'm into like a lot of self-help reads and all that type of book, like 48 Laws, and it might go to Clyde Anderson books, Powernomics, all them type of books. So I do recommend the 50th Law. It's 50 Cent and Robert Greene. The first chapter in the book talks about being fearless, and he gives like his own perception. Like, they break down different scenarios of how being fearless, you know, is really all like in our heads and such, like, until we just actually do it.
It is. And I would honestly say quarantine is the reason why I started reading a lot. We have nothing else to do. So I actually started reading a lot, and I noticed like my mindset, my perspective of life and things change.
Mm-hmm.
So I do read a lot of like biographies, self-help, self-care type of books as well. Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna definitely check that one out. That'll probably be my next one.
Yeah, like, I'm kind of getting more back into it myself as well, because I feel like I'm exercising the minds. I'm putting my mind in the gym, really, like putting my brain at work. So
I think Charlamagne's books are good as well.
Yeah, you said who?
Charlamagne.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna check him out.
Yeah, his are pretty good as well, and kind of help because he's big on mental health and stuff too. So I think his is one of the first ones I started reading like in 2020.
Yeah, we always kind of send off a message, like, everybody be so focused on the outside, like their outer shell, than, you know, internally, like their insides, and they kind of forget about, you know, like you say, keeping your mind together and stuff like that, because focusing on everything on the outside is just like you say, mental health. Like, I'm not taking care of my mental, but I'm focusing on everything, either physical or, you know, stuff like that. So I try to look at it in reverse. Yeah, I do look at stuff, but I really don't, in a sense, because it's like I'm focused right now at the point in my life where I'm looking more like of finding myself and making sure that I keep myself more in reality than, you know,
and that's
like being real what's going on.
And I think a lot of people don't, and I can say this because I didn't realize it until I started changing those things. But a lot of people don't realize how important that is. Like, changing your mindset is important. How much self-care is important. Like, doing little things for yourself is important because it just makes you feel better as a person overall.
I had to drop a bomb. Also, like, how many clients would you say with your business have you worked with, you know, from beginning to now? You would just estimate and number wise.
It's funny you asked that because recently I'll look back at like maybe the client folder, because how I organize like the photos and stuff, I'll look back on how many folders was like inside like a client folder, the client's folders.
Right.
I shot with that many people. That's crazy. Like, so, but overall, I don't even know, but it's been hundreds of people. I'd be impressed by the end of the month how many people I shot. And I think a lot of people don't And I know that's nowhere near as much as some other photographers, but you got to look at it. I'm proud of that for myself. I think the idea of some stranger, that's crazy. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I had to clap that up, you know, because that's just the part of your accolades, you know, and that has to be recognized that you out here working and building these connections and impacting people's lives. So
that's awesome. Like, keep it going too. Like, I just think about the fact that I don't even know this person, but they gave me money to take their pictures, so I must be right.
Yeah, it only like, and then they see your content. Content is everything, you know.
Yeah,
it literally took me like not even a whole 2 minutes to even just be like, all right, let's book. Let me make sure. Like,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so but yeah, it definitely was an honor to have you on the show today to give you your flowers, you know.
Thank you for having.
Definitely appreciate you, you know, accepting the invite and everything. Such like I don't see nothing but do photography still going up more than where it's already at now. So definitely was dope, you know, to catch this right now because you know the business is gonna keep growing and going. Like so definitely appreciate that opportunity to keep, you know, I like to say like I say, impacting people's lives and motivating and inspiring people with your work. You know, you play an important role out here, you know, being a photographer, capturing these moments.
Yeah, those moments are important.
Definitely, you know. I feel like something to be generationally passed down too, though, you know, in a sense. Like, you know, people having these memories to be like, you know, they remember when they shot this. Also, have you ever been on the road as well with your business? Like, have you ever shot in different cities and stuff like that?
I have. I went to Dallas last year for wrestling, actually, to shoot a ringside event. So that I would say that was the first one I was paid to go down there for.
That's dope.
I'm here and I'm booking stuff. That's also another step that I'm trying to get to too, is traveling more and being able to take photos more. My only issue with that is I don't know locations in other places. So trying to figure that part out.
So like even traveling wise, like you go to other cities, like does that in a sense give you more inspiration too visually? Just seeing how certain cities are set up from other cities, like
so even in different states, absolutely. But even here in Georgia, going to a different, like driving like an hour or two away, just seeing things that I love when I can find a different location. I don't like using locations that everybody else uses. I like find that little hole in the wall that was actually really go to it. I love being able to walk around somewhere new and see what I can find. And especially if I have a model with me too, just putting everything together.
Nah, that's dope. I just like the whole conversation. Like I say, I'm an artist, so it's just like I like to, you know, dig into other people's minds of like their creativity because I don't know anything about photos. I just know like, hey, like I my posing is just like, all right, like I'm not a model, so I'm just like, you know, but nah, this definitely was a dope one.
Thank you.
Last but not least, before we get you out of here, you know, what does being an underdog mean to you, or when you hear the word underdog?
Honestly, I feel like for me personally, I don't even pay attention to that. Because what is that really? I feel like I have to focus on my growth, my personal growth. Like, where did you come from? What are you doing? I definitely look at photographers that have been around for a long time, see how they're doing things, maybe even go back and see how they started off with things. For me, the way I think of underdog is you're just still learning a lot of things. You're still trying to figure out the basic stuff. It doesn't less or anything else. I just feel like you're still just trying to get knowledge of what's going on so you can get up to that level.
Right. Yeah, that's how we really look at it. You know, like it's a lot of like in the sense of say music, you know, it's a lot of true talented artists out here.
Yeah.
That's really dope, but they just not getting noticed. You know, but they're
that and like even this outside of photography, even with music, I'm big on music as well. but I listen to a lot of underground people. I don't listen to the mainstream stuff.
Okay.
Like my artist is Currency.
Yeah, I really don't either now. Currency, yeah, Currency is dope.
Like
I wouldn't even say he would be an underground. Like he's definitely up there. He's I guess he's
up there. He's just not mainstream because he doesn't follow have to do or what people like. He just does what he does, and people.
Right. He's independent, you know, and I respect it. You know, if you can move on your own in the industry like that and don't need these big labels to fund you or finance stuff for you, you know, and you able to do it, like, Currency been around for a while. Like,
he's been around for a long time.
Yeah. No, I definitely don't overlook him, especially on like his music in general. Like, he don't sound like nobody else. Like, he got his own sound.
Even with photographers or really any type of art, I've seen people like have amazing work, and then I might find their page and they got like 100 followers. Like, that don't mean nothing. Like, let me see what you.
Nah, definitely the followers. It's all about the content. Like, I'll look more into like I'm heavy on supporting my people. So like all that stuff really, like, I lived in a time like, well, we probably come from the same era of before social media, before followers. Like, that don't really mean too much. It just started meaning something not too long ago, I guess, to certain people.
It did, and like I feel like it has a meaning, but it shouldn't. Like, I've seen people with so many followers and they don't have nothing. Like, that don't mean nothing.
Yeah, I just feel it just be sometimes just be an image of whatever's going on. Like, clout is definitely different, but I mean, you can't compare clout to hard work. Like, hard work is gonna show itself, you know, no matter what. So, it's just all, I guess, on how people just, you know.
Sorry, my.
Nah, you good. But, definitely appreciate having you on, you know, and definitely look forward to more projects, and hopefully that gallery coming soon too as well. Like, that's definitely something I would want to check out personally, because like I'm definitely trying to get to the High. What is the High Art Museum in Atlanta? I've never been. But like,
it's very nice.
Yeah, I definitely want to just go in there and just, you know, observe the art, like see how I feel. Like, I lived in Minnesota. That was one of the things when I first went to a museum or a gallery. Like, I never been to one my whole life, but that changed my perception, like, in a creative way, because I'm actually looking at it deeper than what's really shown to me. Like, you know, how did they make this art? Like, you know, how did this come together? Like, why did they use these type of styles in it? Like,
you got to go to the High Museum. It's I haven't been in a while, as I'm saying that, but I haven't been in years. But it's definitely a great museum.
Yeah, and I think it's Botanical Gardens is here too as well.
Botanical Gardens. Just a couple of spots. A lot of little art spots too.
Right. But this was season 3, episode 11, Picture Perfect. Hey, I got that right. Featuring Dezirae, owner and CEO of Do Photography, Do Photo Wrestling, and Do Models. I got that correct, right? Do Models? Okay, you bet.
Sorry. My phone's about to die, so it's doing weird things now.
All right, you good. But like I say, we definitely appreciate you setting the invite. And
thank you for having me.
Looking forward to seeing bigger and greater things come from Do Photography.
Thank you. Yes. We'll have some new things coming.
Most definitely. There you have it, people. Do Photography. Make sure y'all follow on Instagram. Also, shout out to our sponsor, BOAMEDCB on Instagram, Black-owned cryptocurrency. Shout out to the network, Synthesis Series Network, TV.com, Black-owned independent network. And this was one for the books, everybody.
Yes.
Appreciate you, goddess.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
All right, we out.
Gold mouth, rabbit on my teeth, I got carrots. Open up her mouth and she got vocals sound like Janet. Marble on the floors, but the kitchen kinda granite. Lean color perk, you would think it's pomegranate. I see flying saucers finna roll another planet. It will fall in place if it's meant to be organic. I got crazy lingo, you would think I'm speaking Spanish. I'm something like a pie, never leave without the cannon. I'm enlightened. Check, I got stones around my neck. If you pay attention, I teach her how to earn respect. I walk around with a tag like I'm mad at the rail. People do any damn thing for a check. So what if he got signed labels, throw them on the shelf? I don't ask for help, I just go within myself. Hard times I prevail, I bust up out my shell. I let my nuts hang, cause it don't got no curfew. Gold mouth, rabbit on my teeth, I got carrots. Open up her mouth and she got vocals sound like Janet. Marble on the floors, but the kitchen